Thank you. Well, we're back here on Living Right with Dr. Ray, and a very, very special lady, a friend, Laura Frank. She was awarded. Now, I almost didn't have you on, Laura, because it was 2017 when you got that award. You know, it's 2018 now. I'd looked for the other one, but, you know, I figured, okay, well, it's kind of like getting a used car, you know. But anyway, so here's the question. How many biological children?
We have 8 biological children.
Most people would say to you, what are you doing fostering with 8? How many foster presently?
6. But they all don't live at home. So I have a married son who's almost 28. He'll be 28 pretty soon with a beautiful grandchild. And I have 2 other adult children that moved out. So we're way scaled back.
People always wonder what pulls someone into fostering, and you had a touching story.
I do. I was one of those people that might have been overheard saying I could never foster because I could never give the child back. You know, when you put that much love and attention into them. And so I felt that way for quite a while, and I was in prayer asking the Lord what He wanted me to do more than what I was doing.
You weren't thinking fostering?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And so that's why I just know it was from the Lord, because it was so foreign to something that I would ever naturally think of. And it was so clear in my heart, and I'm like, there's no way. I could never do that. I could never give the child back. Don't ask me that. You asked me to be Catholic once. I resisted for a long time, but actually joyfully, it was a little painful.
Well, yeah, it lasted
first.
there for a while, sure.
Yeah, it was, and my sister-in-law could even tell I was crying.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to become Catholic. The Lord asked me to. And now I'm so joyful. I'm very happy I am.
Why didn't you think that fostering would turn out the same?
I did, actually. I just wasn't ready for it. It took me time, and I kept praying about it. It kept coming to my heart. And I said, Lord, how can I do this? And I kept hearing Him say again and again, my grace will be sufficient for you. My grace will be sufficient for you. And I'm like, well, if Greg's not going for this, my husband, then I'm off the hook. Because you said the 2 have to become one and be together, and Greg will never go for it. I'm clear. So I mentioned it to Greg, and he's like, oh, that's a great idea. You'd be wonderful.
Never can count on the guy to back you up when you need it.
And I'm like, really? You really think that? And he goes, yeah, you're a great mom. It'd be great. And I'm
yeah, because you're doing it.
So we started right away in the classes. It takes 13 weeks.
How many years ago?
About 7 years ago. And we decided we wanted to specialize in sibling groups because we have a large family, and we can imagine if something happened to us, our children could be separated.
So you didn't want the kids to be separated from
Right, and we understood that. And I don't know, I was a preschool teacher for 20-some years, so I'm used to 23 little kids running around. I'd much rather have 23 preschoolers than even 1 teenager. So I'm like, we'll do the little ones. We decided to do children who are under the age of our youngest child.
A lot of families choose that way.
So that we can keep our children safe, and also that's just my forte, was the younger set.
Just out of curiosity, a lot of people who want to adopt, if they have 3 children, they're told by the agencies, no, you have 3. So you had 8, and you went to the agencies, and they said, oh, sure, you've already got 8, we'll add 3 more to it. They didn't have any problem with that?
Well, I thought they would, and that's another, my loophole's getting out. But they said, no, we're actually, the agency has softened their stance about this, and especially people who are willing to take in sibling groups, because it's a big need for handicapped children and sibling groups. There's just not a lot of people who will do that. So as long as your house can accommodate that, then, you could foster. So they came out and did all their assessments. And
did you keep Greg hidden while they were doing that?
Well, no, Greg's been wonderful, actually. And so the bottom line is it's just been a blessing for our family.
Question, how did you get over the old, I couldn't give them back?
Well, I couldn't believe it myself, because I kept waiting for that feeling to come of like possessiveness, where you just feel like they're mine. But it's funny how when God gives you love, it doesn't divide, it multiplies. So the love just multiplies, and you can share. and you realize that you're just there as, I call myself a helper mom. I'm just helping you till you can get to your next mommy, whether it's your forever mommy or you get to go back to your mommy who she's fixed all her boo-boos and she can take care of you again.
What about the kids? You had kids, now you're adding 2, 3, 4 at a time. Were any of them thinking, hey, my mom's getting split off from me here. She's spending more time with them. She's tired, etc. Any of that?
Well, I think that was part of the blessing that our family experienced. Maybe in some families that might happen, but in our family, the kids actually, it was like a mission for us. And we hopped in, and there have been times where my children have given up their bedrooms and moved out into like what we call like an extra bonus bedroom. It's not as nice, just so that the siblings could stay together. And I think it makes them feel good. I think that they've grown and they've learned how to appreciate it.
Learn how to give.
And I think it's been good for them.
I know there are other parents out there who would toy with foster parenting, but they struggle just like you did initially. I can't give it up. What if it does this to my family? What if I take on a child who has so many needs that in fact I can't parent them like I think I should, like I parented the other ones? Would you help some of those parents pass that?
Well, I would suggest that if that does happen, there is a way that you can even tell the agency that it's not working out. We need to take a step back. Maybe this wasn't a good match for us. And the agency should be able to find a different placement for them. And then when you're selecting and deciding whether or not you should have another group or child to come into your home, maybe you'll be more refined the next time. For example, we don't take any children that have been sexually abused knowingly. Now, we have found out since, sometimes you don't know.
There's a lot of hidden history.
And then it comes out, but we've dealt with it, but it surely wouldn't be something that fits well for our family because I still have young children in my home.
What differences do you notice in parenting a foster child versus parenting a biological child?
Now this is my passion. Okay, I strongly recommend if you want to consider fostering, you have to realize it's a whole different process than you're parenting your own biological children because their brains are actually even shaped different in their head from the trauma. The back of their brain is going to be enlarged and the front of their brain is going to be smaller. They're not going to be able to...
Now, let's clarify this. When you say trauma, you're not meaning abusive trauma, you're meaning developmental trauma.
Absolutely. Like just being removed it can be traumatic, but of course there's varying degrees. There's of trauma, whether you saw a sibling get killed or whether you've watched your parents do abusive things, or like there's levels of severity. But either way, even a newborn baby has some sort of trauma being removed from their biological parent. And their brains are definitely, you can prove it, science has shown 40 some years now of research that their brains are actually even shaped different in their head. So you have to parent them differently, and it's very important to become what I call traumatized. You need to be educated in the traumatized brain. Dr. Perry, Dr. Siegel have excellent resources on this. Lots of studies have been done. So if you think you're going to go in and parent the way you've done all your other children, you'll be disappointed and frustrated.
And you're frustrated. Do parents drop out?
They do. And there is a big need for foster parents. But I encourage you to be educated, to know how a traumatized child's brain works. For example, we have a sibling group, and recently my mother fell and got hurt and her hip broke, and so I had to leave every night to go take care of her. The kids started acting up.
Wait. How many kids at home right now, total?
Well, the foster kids, there were six.
Everybody.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 kids at home, and you're taking care of your mom.
Well,
I feel like such a weasel.
So, the point is that the children started acting up, and I couldn't figure it out until it dawned on me I was a trigger, because what happened in their situation is their mom would leave at night, and their caretaker was the abuser. And so when I would leave, it reminded them when their mom would go to work,
All of the kids, all of
the
all
one
foster-
sibling group
the
that we
sibling group,
had.
Okay.
And so when I realized what was happening, then we could talk about it, and they were all just amazed and like, yeah, that's why, yeah. And so we worked out a
my.
different plan, like, okay, I won't leave until a little bit later till I get the younger set, and then the
Yeah.
next day I'll leave sooner to take care, and just took turns being there a little bit more for them to help keep them feeling safe and secure. But learning what triggers are for children, it could be a smell, it could be the sound of a belt buckle, it could be just situations,
You see that
music,
hyper emotional reaction.
where all of a sudden they're just
You
acting
go from
up.
0 to 60 miles an
And you're
hour
like,
just
what
like
just
that.
happened? And so you learn how to spot triggers. But all this is in there's wonderful reading you can do, there's workshops you can.
You haven't mentioned any of my books. You know, when you kept saying wonderful reading, you kept saying guys' names that were not like mine.
You know, you're actually, it's amazing because we just finished some training and we cited 3 of your books in our training that we got credit for. So that should help you feel better.
Hey, is there anybody out there that you would think would be a major support for you sitting out there right now?
Absolutely, my husband.
Greg, go on up here, buddy. This is Laura's husband, Greg. Oh. Hi, buddy.
Thanks, Sandra. Appreciate it. There's actually 11 children in our home. She thought there were 10.
11?
Well, Rachel's 18.
You forgot Christy. It's okay.
She's 23.
She's still.
There's
They
going to
don't
be a
like-
fight.
you
Okay,
know, the
I'm
teenagers-
sensing a lot of conflict. Go with that. Share. Greg, I'm hearing you say 11. Laura, I'm hearing you say 10. Maybe we could compromise 10.5. Would that be something in a marriage?
Whatever
What
she says.
a
right?
delightful, absolutely delightful
Thanks for having us on.
interview. Now.